Welcome back to the Switch Sports Golf Super League. It's coming down to the final 2 weeks here, and these matches, especially this one, are incredibly important. I've done some math, and in these final 2 weeks, I virtually decide my own destiny. If I win this one, this is a very key one. AP and I are right next to each other on the leaderboard. Next week, I play the person right above that on the leaderboard. So if I can win this match, it puts me in a good spot. If I can win out, I will guarantee myself 3rd place. However, if I lose this one, I virtually guarantee myself 5th. So this match decides whether I'm playing in a playoff to go up a division, or if I have to replay in a tournament just to get back into this league. So this is a huge one. Let's lock in, hit some good shots, and see if we can at least get off to a good start here. We got 0 wind on hole 13. Interesting setup. AP holes it right away. Let's see if I can match that. Okay, I think that's a pretty good shot. It's going to take... Oh, not the best looking bounce. That needs to be just a little bit more to the left. So it actually has to be right next to the pin and not like a half square over where I aimed it. So a great shot there from AP, a great start. I just wasn't super familiar with this pin and what I needed to do in order to try to hole it. And AP starts off hot with a hole-in-one. So AP is at -2 to start right away. I'm at 1 under par. Great start for AP. We're going to be clawing back in game 1 right away. All right, we'll move on to hole 16, and we have some difficulty. There's a stretch of holes, 9, 21, and 17, that are pretty tough in this seed. So, you know, it's definitely not over. One shot can be made up. Let's try to make this one. This is another eagle opportunity. So we'll hit a good drive through that tree gap. With that wind, there's no real problem with ending up OB or anything like that. We'll bounce to a stop, technically in the bunker, but it doesn't make a huge difference here. And now we'll have a pretty straightforward chip. So the wind's going to push this a little to the left. So we'll have to carefully aim this out to about there. That should be good. We'll hit it with a dot of power. Roll it up there. And see if we can get this one to sink. Okay, I like that shot. That should fall no problem. Let's see if AP can chip it in as well. It's on its way, and that'll be a no-doubter. It looked like it hit the pin right in the middle, and it did. I couldn't quite see when it went in because my replay popped up. But that should be an eagle for each of us. And it is. So AP is at 4 under through 2. I'm at 3 under. Some good scoring at the start of this first match. Fireworks right away, especially for AP. All right, we've got hole 5 now. And this is another possible eagle opportunity. We can maybe reach this one. I'm not 100% sure, but this is some pretty good looking wind. Let's hit a good drive out there, left of that tree. We can maybe sneak it to the right, but it's a very narrow gap over there. You can end up in the rough, you can end up clipping the tree. So it's perhaps a little more reachable if you go further to the right, but it's much riskier. And this, I think, should be fine. I think we can still get there, or at least be on the bottom part of this green. Let's aim it out that way. A good amount, right about there. Let's hit a good shot up there. That should move a good amount left. Now, can it make it all the way up? Oh, it's going to be close, and we're going to end up just a bit short. Not bad, though. I'm a little bit further up than AP, but I am chipping. It's kind of the same for each of us. Now, how is this chip going to behave? I want this to roll out. It's going to move a good amount to the left with the wind. It may kick left at the start, but it definitely rolls back to the right towards the end. So we'll adjust this, you know, a decent amount out to the right. I'm going to say about there. Should be good. We'll hit it with a little less than pin high power. Let's see if we can make the eagle here. Okay, my shot's on its way, and I like that line a lot. We'll sink it. There's a nice eagle. His shot is on his way. My replay blocks it again. Unfortunately, I can't really control that, but AP ends up just short. So if he can sink this putt, which it's a pretty straightforward one, we'll end up back to even. And he will sink it for the birdie. So the fireworks continue. It's a good start for AP with that hole-in-one. I come back with a nice chip on that hole 5. We're each 5 under through 3. And now we've got hole 2 with some light-looking wind, 2 miles an hour. So perhaps another chance here. This is a pretty aceable one. I would be surprised if neither of us made it. I mean, it's a tough one. This is not my favorite pin. I have a good feeling that AP knows this one. So let's see. We'll try to hit it with about that much power. Right about there. That feels pretty good. Let's see if we can get this one to sink. Ooh, my shot felt like it came up a little bit short. I'm not the biggest fan of the start that's on. It'll end up ripping back and sinking, though, so it doesn't really matter. Whew, okay. That wasn't my best line at it, but there's a margin for error on that one, and I feel like I got a little bit lucky. We sink it for the ace, and AP ends up right next to the cup. Oh, I missed the shot because my replay popped up once again, but AP just misses it. I'm not sure if that lipped out or if it just rolled back right next to the cup, but a very, very near miss there. And he'll have to tap in for the birdie. So I'll move to 7 under through 4. AP is at 6 under on what looked like a rob there. That looked like it probably should have fallen. That was right next to the cup. And now we'll have hole 10 with 0 wind. So I have 3 eagles in a row. This is perhaps another opportunity depending on the pin. And I actually really like this pin. So this is a good look at trying to make another one. In this Super League, I haven't had a ton of holeouts. I've had a couple, you know, here and there, some lucky ones, but we haven't had any super low rounds under par. Like, I haven't really made any, I don't think, 13 or 14 unders, which I have done a couple times before, not frequently, but I'm on a pretty good pace in this round to try to pull off that type of score, if I can keep this going. I like the look I have here. Let's hit this carefully up there, about 3.8 or so dots of power, right around there. Make sure we get it there. That should be a good look. Let's see if we can sink another.
Nice shot.
Okay, I like the start that's on. That should kick just a little left, and we'll roll it up there, and we'll sink it for another eagle. My 4th in a row. And AP ends up just by the hole. I kind of knew that one. That's one that I feel like I've seen a bit more frequently in recent matches or in recent play. I don't record all of my games, so there are some games that I don't necessarily have on video, but I feel like I've seen that one a lot frequently, and I've kind of gotten it down. AP will sink the putt there for the birdie, and I'll move to 9 under through 5. So I'm on what may be personal best pace if I can keep it going. AP is having a good round at 7 under. We've seen some great conditions. However, we now hit the stretch of 9, 21, and 17 where the eagles are going to be harder to come by. But we do see some good wind here. Actually, 31 miles an hour. It's tough, but it's doable. Let's aim this out to there. We'll hit a good drive. That should end up right of the tree and left of the rough if I did it right. That's looking like it's on a fantastic line. We'll end up with a good chance to get there in 2. And that'll glide down that fairway nicely, and we'll have a good look. Okay, so we want to aim this one a good amount left and club down. So we'll aim it out to like there. I think that should be a pretty good spot. You know, it's kind of a rough estimate, but let's try that out. We'll hit it with about that much power. And I think I like this look. I think I like this look quite a bit.
Nice shot.
All right, it's on its way. It's going to move a bit too far to the right. Can it hold the green? It will. Okay, so we're going to be on the green. We're going to have a tough little side hill, downhill putt for our eagle. But it's an eagle putt. You can't complain about an eagle putt on hole 9. We have to aim this way out to the right. Like perhaps to there or so. AP's putt is on the way, and he will sink it for the eagle. A great putt there. So if I make this, I can hold that 2-stroke lead. If I miss it, it'll go back to 1. This is a big one. Let's see if I can sink it. I like my aim here. Just a little over a dot of power. Let's see if we can sink this one. It's on its way. It's looking good, and I will sink it for my, I believe, 5th eagle in a row. Okay, another eagle on the scorecard. I'm 11 under through 6. AP is at 9 under. What a start to this round. We have 3 holes to play. Okay, we've got another tough one here. It's hole 21, but it's got a pin that's fairly doable and 0 wind. Rarely do you see 0 wind on hole 21. It's a very low likelihood. I think it's a 1 in 16 chance overall, but we see it here. And this pin is actually one of the more doable ones. There's a bit of a strategy here if we can pull it off. So what we have to do is aim this just very, very slightly to the left, like just a touch left, because it's going to bounce perfectly straight and we want to make sure we don't clip the pin. So about there I think should be good. We'll club back down to the 9, hit it with about 3.5 dots of power. It's a little downhill so it flies a bit further. We want to hit this off the fairway first and try to bounce and roll it back up that hill. Let's try that out, see if we can pull it off.
Nice
Okay, that's
shot.
the exact shot that I wanted. It's on... Oh, that's tough. It hits the bunker. Now, if that landed just a couple of feet further, that would have had a great chance to take a bounce down there and make it. But we just end up in the bunker. And now how do we want to make this one, or how do we give this one the best chance of falling? I can't really see the green, so I have to rely on that topography map. And it says it's going to move a bit to the right, so we'll trust that. Hit it with about a half dot of power. And see if we can sink this chip for the birdie. Alright, it's on its way. It's looking pretty good, and it'll lip out. Ooh, and that's a tough lip. And it rolls out pretty far from there. So I played that one pretty aggressively. Perhaps I didn't need to. This is actually an okay putt here. Let's just hit this with about 2 dots of power. Get it up there. Whew, and we'll sink the par. Okay, so AP will push back to within 1. Through 7, I'm at 11 under. AP is at 10 under. We're both scoring very well. We'll see if I can hold on to that 1-stroke lead. All right, and now here's our final hole of this 3-hole stretch that can be difficult. We saw some pretty straightforward conditions. I just didn't play my best shot on hole 21. It happens sometimes. We'll move past that one and see if we can pick one back up here. This one's a tricky one. Okay, this is the wind direction, I should say, that is very, very launchable. I feel like this launches every time. So because of that, I'll kind of keep that in mind and take some off of it. So hopefully, even if this launches, it can hold the green. Let's try that out. Aim it to about there. And see if we can launch this up there nicely. So just a little bit off the driver. I feel like the full driver typically ends up off the back. That one's going to end up launching, and it will still end up off the back, but that's puttable. I mean, we're barely on the fringe, and that's a very straight putt. That's actually pretty much exactly what I was hoping for. It just went maybe a tiny bit too far. So we can for sure putt this one. We'll aim it maybe just a touch out to the left. Make sure we hit it with that 1.5 dots of power or so. Oh, AP's putt will just miss from the front of the green. He may not have gotten the launch that he was looking for and ended up in the front. So I'll hit my putt. We'll sink the birdie on not the easiest hole 17, but I feel like I played that one pretty well. So that'll push me to 12 under through 8. AP will remain at 10 under. We've got one hole to play. It's hole 3, which is pretty straightforward typically. Okay, it looks like we have some moderate wind. It's in a helpful direction though, so this one should be fairly straightforward. We just want to hit a couple good shots here and at least secure the birdie.
Nice.
Alright, so we'll hit a full drive out there. That should be safely left of that tree. No need to cut it even close at all. We can just hit a standard second shot through that tree gap. If we need to chip up there, we can. Hopefully, try to make the chip. If not, a birdie should secure it. Okay, yeah, that's a tough pin. We can just put that one up in the bunker, chip to it.
Nice shot.
The shot's on its way. I mean, it's pretty much exactly where I wanted to put it. Just a big bounce off the fairway. Nice and close. We'll roll this one up there. No need to take the risk of any pin hits or weird bounces or anything like that with spin. We'll just bounce this one up there and see if we can maybe make it. It would be fun to make this one, but not going aggressively for the make. All right, that feels like a safe shot. That should just kick to the right a little bit. AP's shot will lip out. I'll have about a 10-foot birdie putt, a very straight one. Just a little 1-dot putt. We'll send it up there. We'll sink it. AP will make the birdie as well. And that should be a nice W in game 1. So I'll move to 13 under. I believe that's my best round in this Super League so far. Could have been a bit better, but, you know, we saw a little tough stretch there in the middle. I made a par
Finish.
on hole 21. But I'll take the win. We'll move on to game 2. Well played game for each of us there. I had a good stretch of eagles in the middle. That one felt pretty good. A good start to this match. We're back with game 2, once again facing AP13 in this second to last week of the Super League. If I can win this one, I put myself in a great spot. I do control my own destiny pretty much. I mean, unless some weird things happen with the math. But this would be a good win to pick up if I can keep it going. And AP is a tough opponent. I'm sure he's going to be fighting hard in this second game to try to get that win back. Let's see if we can hold him off and pull off a victory. We have hole 13 again to start, so perhaps a bit of a redo here. Let's see if I can maybe try to make the ace this time, or at least put it close. We see some wind this time around, so a little bit tougher. Let's see. Okay, that felt like a pretty good shot. Is it on a good line? Not the best. That's going to actually bounce and just miss the pin. Oh, it'll roll back, and I will lip it all the way around and sink it. I was not expecting to make it from that side of the pin. It can roll back to the right from the proper angle, and I must have just caught it. Oh, AP's shot hits the flag. Oh, the pin in this game is just brutal. I barely snuck around it, and I feel lucky to have done so. It bounces off to the side, and he'll have to sink the birdie on our first hole here. So in the opposite of last game, I will sink the ace on hole 13. AP will birdie, and I'll have a lead here early in game 2. Okay, we've got hole 3 again, and it looks like generally a nicer seed this time around. We saw no special holes and some more eagleable holes, so perhaps some more low scores incoming for both of us. It'd be fun to push this to minus 13 again, or maybe a little bit further. Not to get ahead of ourselves, we still have plenty of golf to play, we have to hit the shots. But hole 3 is typically one of the more straightforward ones. We do see some maximum crosswind here though, and it looks like one of the tougher pins. Let's take a look and see. Kind of. With this crosswind, that one's not super easy. We'll just hit a standard second shot out there, safely left of that tree. We'll end up wherever, bunker, rough, either way is totally fine. We'll have a decent looking chip up there from 23 yards. We'll have to kind of hit this one carefully. The wind's going to push this a bit forward. Let's aim it a good amount out to the left. We'll call it right about there. That looks like a pretty good adjustment. Let's hit it about pin high with the power. Maybe slightly less because the wind's pushing this a bit forward. But this is also a little uphill, so maybe we'll just call it pin high power. Oh, AP has sunk it. A nice chip there to sink it. Puts the pressure on me. Let's see if I can match. Alright, my shot's on its way. I like the look of it. It'll come back and fall just inside the left edge. 2 nice chips for each of us there. The Eagles continue in this game 2. Whew, okay, so I was able to match a good shot there from AP. He will be at 3 under. I'm now at 4 under through 2. So another good start to this game. The pace of scoring has been scorching at the start of both of these first 2 games. Okay, we have hole 16 again. And this is another one where we can go for that shortcut no problem. We just have to aim it a little out to the right. We'll call it about there. That should be safe. We'll hit this up there. Through that tree gap, full power driver. And we'll clip the rough first, and ooh, we'll launch up there a little bit closer. So AP ended up bouncing to a stop a bit further back. This is a pretty straightforward chip. It rolls pretty straight. However, the wind's going to push this very slightly left. And it's a longer chip as well. So we want to aim this, you know, a little bit out to the right. AP's shot is on its way. It was looking good, and it just misses on the left side. So I'll have a chance here to maybe pick up another stroke if I can sink this one. I want to hit it about 2 dots of power. Bounce it up there. And we'll see if that's good. So slightly over 2 dots. That's on a decent looking line. It just won't sink though. 0.5 feet on the left edge. It wasn't on the line. It needed to be aimed just very slightly out to the right. Just a bit more. We'll tap in the birdie, as did AP. And we'll move on to the next one. So that was a good look at 3 eagles in a row, but we'll just barely miss it, sink the birdie. That'll push me to 5 under. AP is at 4 under, so still a good pace in this game too. We'll have hole 5 now. Like I said, this seed has been very scoreable. And are we going to see some tailwind again? It looks like it. Pretty light though, so not necessarily easy. Or not necessarily an easy eagle. Can't reach this in 2. I'm just going to play this one safe. Way out to the left of that tree. Guarantee that I at least have a good look at this second shot where I can put it close and chip it up there. So you can carry those front 2 trees no problem, or at least the right front tree. Left front tree if you have some good tailwind, but we don't have to worry about that right here. Let's just hit a good second shot up there, as close as we can.
Nice shot.
It's going to be a decent length third shot. But I think I can actually club up to the 9-iron in this situation where I'm like 40-ish, yeah, 37 yards away. Clubbing up to the 9-iron allows me to hit that about 1.5 dot powered chip where if I spin it, it's not going to roll all the way back down the hill. So I can kind of spin it to a stop up there. That's going to be the goal. All right, my shot's on its way. It's looking pretty good. Oh, it'll lip. And that takes all the spin off of it. So if that bounced up there just a little bit more, it could have lightly rolled back and fallen. AP's shot just missed on the low side. He may have tried to spin it back as well. So mine lip launches to about 10 feet. I mean, not bad. But it's a tricky little side hill putt, so we'll treat it with caution. Hit it with the proper power to get it there, sink it inside the right edge, and pick up the birdie. So back-to-back very near misses on some eagle chances. This could have been another all-timer round, but you can't make them all. We'll be at 6 under through 4. AP is still just one shot back at 5 under. And now we'll have hole 11 with that middle back pin. Kind of a tougher one for me. I wouldn't call this one necessarily an easy ace, that's for sure. I will use the spoon today. I'm not a big fan of using this, but we'll try it out. I like to safely roll this up there with the 5-iron, but I feel like I need to be a bit more aggressive because I feel like AP has a good chance of sinking this one. I think he knows it. His shot's on the way. It's on a great looking line, and he'll sink it for the ace. I kind of knew that was coming. I had a sense that he was going to do it. Let's see if I can match it. Okay, my shot's on the way. It's also looking pretty good. It's just not going to be a make, though. So it'll roll up there just a little too far on the right side. I'll be 2.5 feet away. So I'll have a tap-in birdie here. I mean, it's another side hiller, so I have to treat it with caution, as I do with all the side hill putts. We'll tap it up there just inside the right edge to make sure it doesn't miss low and left. And that fantastic ace from AP will even this one back up at 7 under through 5. 4 holes to play to see if one of us can take this game 2 in regulation. You know, I knew that AP wasn't going to go away quietly. He's a fantastic player, as is everybody else in this Super League. As I've said plenty of times, there were 30 plus very, very talented players vying for the spots in this league. Only 6 of us or so, I believe, got them. So everybody in this league is a fantastic player, some great competitors. And I'm going to have to continue to play well in the final stretch here if I'm going to position myself well in the standings. We've got a tough look here. Let's see. It's going to move a good amount to the right because I want to land this on the green. The wind's going to push it, you know, a good amount, a tiny bit to the right, but the bounce goes right as well. So we'll take those both into account. We'll hit it with about that much power, I'd say. And let's see if we can bounce this one up there nicely. Let's try this shot. AP has hit his shot. I'll send mine on its way.
Nice shot.
Has AP hold out? It doesn't look like it. Mine's going to end up just a little bit short and a little bit too far right as well. Actually, the power was perfect. The aim was just very slightly off. So I'll have a tap-in birdie. I believe AP will as well. You know, hole 1 is oftentimes with a tiny bit of wind and those non-front pins. A very easy birdie, but a tougher eagle. So no change on the leaderboard there. So we're still tied. Just birdies on that first hole. It was kind of an opportunity. You know, I just missed it to the right, but I'll be at 8 under, as will AP. Okay, here's hole 18 with some tailwind pushing to the right a bit as well. 9 miles an hour, not a ton to it. Let's aim this just a bit out to the left. Hit a good standard drive out there. That should be nicely in the middle of the fairway by the time the wind pushes it to the right just a touch. And we'll have a good look at this pin from this angle. So this pin in the back of the green is accessible up and over those shelves. So we just need to aim this a bit out to the left. I'm going to call it about there or so. Somewhere out there is the proper aim. Let's see if that's it.
Nice shot.
All right, mine's on its way, and it's looking like it's coming in a little bit too hot. Let's see if that hits the pin. Oh, it lips. It lips and ends up off the back of the green, so just a bit too much power on it. AP had a nice approach there. He's within 7 feet or so is what that means. Is this a putt or a tougher chip? The problem here is that chipping to this hill is tough. It's not going to roll out. So I may want to putt this just to guarantee myself the rollout. It's going to move a good amount to the left. So I'll have to aim it to roughly there and hit it with the proper power to get it up there. I'm going to call it like a 1.5 dots or so. Hopefully that's good. Let's send it on its way. We'll sink a nice eagle on a tougher fringe putt on hole 18. So I ended up off the back of the green. I was able to sink a nice putt there to push me to 10 under AP will also be at 10 under. Some great scoring once again in this game too. We're already at double digits with 2 holes to play. We've got holes 4 and 10 to finish here. It looks like we'll have some moderate looking wind. 9 miles an hour once again. We'll take a touch off of it just to make sure that we don't hit it too far, end up in the fringe or anything like that. I like this aim. Let's go for this one. Oh, I shorted it. That's not going to be a make unless it takes a huge bounce, which I don't think it will. It'll hit the fringe, actually, which will cause it to actually end up with a pretty good lead. That should be just pretty straight uphill. So I get a bit lucky hitting the fringe. It takes some of the spin off of it. It bounces pretty far, and I kind of needed it to. So a good stroke of luck there. Sometimes the fringe hurts you. Sometimes it ends up helping you in a weird way. AP will sink the putt for the birdie. I'll send mine up there and sink it as well, and that'll push us each to 11 under with 1 hole to play. So a birdie pushes us to minus 12 in this last hole, which would be a great score. An eagle pushes to minus 13. So another chance here for some great scoring. We see some wind this time around. It looks like it's some stronger wind. 9 miles an hour once again, so stronger for hole 10. And this one's a bit different this time. I think I have to use the 7-iron to roll this one up there. So it's a bit different. Going to have to adjust it differently because the 7-iron rolls differently. Yeah, so the 9-iron for sure does not reach. We have to club up to the 7. And let's aim it to about there. It's a bit of a guess, but I think around there is the proper aim. It kicks a bit to the left. It's a bit upwind, a bit uphill. Let's try that. A make here would be huge. I want to at least put it close for the birdie, though. About 3.1 dots of power. Maybe 3.2. We'll send it on its way. It's looking pretty good if it holds that line, and I'll sink it. I will make the eagle on hole 10 through some tougher winds, and AP's shot will just miss on the right side. Wow. That one was a lucky break for me. I wasn't super familiar with what the play needed to be. AP will tap in the birdie, and that'll push me to 13 under once again. AP is at 12 under, so some great scoring for both of us. I got lucky in those games. I mean, that's what it comes down to sometimes. A stroke of luck towards the end of that secures the game for me in a huge, huge matchup. I'll take the 2-0 victory. I mean, great playing by AP. I played two of my best rounds ever in this match. That feels absolutely huge, and I really hope you've enjoyed watching this Super League. Ooh, it feels good to put on a good performance in that match. Great games to AP. We'll see you next week for the final matchup of the Super League.